What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's Q&A. Thank you very much for all your questions that you left last week in last week's Q&A video. Again, if you have any questions, we need some more questions for next week. Just leave them down below in the comment section. It can be on anything. Powerlifting related is helpful for people that tend to watch this channel, or strength training related, but again, it doesn't need to be that. If you have any other questions, just please leave them down below, and it allows this Q&A to keep going week to week to week, as I really enjoy it. And the first question, I'm not actually sure if it is a question or more of a statement. You use gear, ? Because your bloated face screams D-ball. So I'm not sure if this is a question or a statement. Two things to that. So there's maybe two reasons for that. Number one, maybe because I'm fat. Because I'm fat, I've got a fat face. And maybe that's what you're perceiving to be a bloated face. Or, on the other hand, maybe I am pregnant and I'm just getting some pregnancy bloats. So, based off of that, as soon as we finish this Q&A, I'm going to have to go through my texts and start working out who the other parent is. So that'll be interesting. So thank you. So either I'm pregnant and I need to go through about 15 different people, or I'm just fat, or maybe both. I don't know. So yeah, has the knowledge you have gained on anatomy and physiology through your own personal reading and studying, or are you currently studying at a university? It's both. You know, it's through my own personal studying, but also through working. Doing my personal training course, you know, so obviously doing your level 2, your level 3, your personal training certificates and all that stuff, you know, that's took me many months to do, and obviously that is a form of studying, you know. So through that, and then also through just my own personal studying and working with athletes and working with myself, and also working with, you know, physiotherapists, sports massage therapists, osteopaths, things like that. Obviously they're extremely knowledgeable and a lot more knowledgeable than me with the body, and just kind of listening to them and picking up stuff off of them. But yeah, I'm definitely quite an anatomy geek, you know. I really like to kind of research it and whatnot. So yeah, it's mainly personal, but there obviously is studying through it, but I don't currently do anything at university for it. I'm just too busy with my business right now to go to university, but going to university would be something I'd like to do, probably in my 30s. I would like to go and do and have a degree, you know, but right now I'm just too busy with my business and my training, and that takes up pretty much all my time. And then obviously the other time I have, based off the last question, I'm just going out and trying to get myself pregnant, so that I can have this lovely bloated face. Have you ever taken a period of time off a main lift through injury, or just continued to work around it? The guy with the squat hip issue you answered in this episode sounds similar to mine. So I probably need to find a sports physio. Did you find your physio through a recommendation of fitness industry? Yeah, not really, no. In the lead up to Worlds, about maybe 12 weeks out from Worlds, I think. No, maybe less than that, maybe 8 weeks out from Worlds, I tore my hamstring. I tore my right hamstring, and I was unable to squat. I missed 3 squat sessions. Still deadlifted every, you know, but I missed 3 squat sessions. Now, I'm never taking a period of time off. I'm just too stubborn. There has definitely been periods of time where I should have taken time off, without a doubt, you know. But I am just way too stubborn, and I'm way too stupid and unintelligent and lack a lot of nuts and bolts, and I've always worked through it. What I would suggest is, if you have any dysfunction, if you have issues, get yourself an osteopath, a sports physiotherapist, someone you can trust, someone that's good at their craft, and someone that can really help you. You know, it's going to be paramount for just not even just long-term success, just being injury-free and pain-free. You know, I mean, it's amazing to just actually be pain-free. It's a really good feeling. It's a nice feeling to just be injury-free, and it really does improve your quality of life, you know. I lean towards one side while squatting and end up squatting on one leg nearly. Any tips on how to rectify this? It depends. Is it just a technique issue? Is it generally just a technique issue? For whatever reason, is it just a complete technical issue that it could be an easy fix? Or is there a muscular imbalance issue, i.e. have you just came off of surgery and one side is atrophied a lot more than the other side? Is there some imbalance issues, some rotational issues? Is there some dysfunction through your hips? You know, there's so many things. What I would say is A, you need to see the thing. B, I think you need to come to the bottom of the terms of, is it technical or is it structural? You know, if it's structural, you need to work towards getting that fixed. If it's technical, then you need to work towards getting that fixed. If it's technical, then email me, send me a video, and I'll get back to you. You know, just send me a video of your squats, and I'll help you out to the best of my abilities. So that's what to do. What mobility exercises do you recommend for hip mobility in the deadlift? Okay, well, it depends whether it's sumo or whether it's conventional. I don't have any specific hip mobility exercises because I feel explaining them would be quite difficult. What I would say is you need to make sure that your hip flexors are not overly tonic. Because you need to make sure your hip flexors are not overly tonic. You need to make sure your adductors are not overly tonic. I mean, you don't require a lot of hip mobility for a conventional deadlift. You really don't require a lot of hip mobility for a conventional deadlift. You can require a lot. You can require a lot of hip mobility for a sumo deadlift depending on your stance. But I would say make sure that your hip flexors are not overly tonic. Make sure your adductors are not overly tonic, and make sure that you have good internal and external rotation of your femur or of your hip. And that covers both bases for conventional and sumo. You know, if you lack external and internal rotation, you're not going to get into proper positioning. If your adductors and hip flexors are overly tonic, your glutes aren't going to be firing efficiently enough. You know, so that's definitely things to consider. Thank you. No problem. Okay, this is from one of the athletes I work with. Being pro macro, on days where you test maxes, do you recommend people within reason eat up to maximise energy, or do you prefer to stay within macro targets? Well, that's a great question. If you're on a deficit, yes. If you're on a deficit for whatever reason, if you are on a deficit to lose body fat and you have a testing day, for example, then yeah, you know, kind of 3 weeks out, we're going to start slowly eating up to it and probably work up to about maintenance calories for the past week, for the week before it, and then maybe 2 days before it, go into some form of a small surplus. Absolutely. If you're in a surplus already, then no, there's no need. If you're already in a surplus, then being in more of a surplus isn't going to do anything, because you're in a surplus, then you're not going to be depleted. Your liver glycogen isn't going to be depleted. Your muscle glycogen isn't going to be depleted. You know, your blood sugar levels are probably going to be reasonably stable as long as you're eating a relatively good diet within hitting your fibre and macronutrient targets. You know, so no, if in a surplus, absolutely not, because it would make no sense, because you can't become, then if nothing's depleted, then you can't store any more. You just start storing more fat tissue. But if you're in a deficit, absolutely, without a doubt. What is love? My response was when a man looks at ass, so whether it be a male or female ass, or in my case possibly both, depending on the night. Next question. Video demo of glute extensions, please. Yeah, that costs money, so feel free to email me and we can get sorted for that. How do you determine what numbers to use for your main sets? Is it percentage based, RPE based? How does it change with each week in terms of intensity? That's a great question, and honestly it would take so long. In very, very short terms, I break it down into training phases. You know, is it an introductory block? Is it a restorative block? Is it a volume block? Is it an intensity block? Is it a peaking block? You know, and each of them have different percentages that you usually would work in. You know, so if it's an accumulation block, I'm probably going to have athletes work between 60 and 80%, sometimes up to 85%. The sets and reps will change. Are we squatting twice a week? If we're squatting twice a week, we might do 12s and 6, 10 and 5s, 8 and 4s, 8 and 5s, 6 and 3s. You know, if it's an intensity block, we might be doing, you know, are we walking up to a top single and doing some back off doubles? You know, it completely depends on the training phase. What I would say is just read some programs, you know, read some programs that are good, have good progression protocols, and study them and emulate them. Don't copy them, but emulate them. And if you actually look, a lot of programs that are good, you know, they all follow the same kind of stuff. There's no magic in programming, you know. There's really no magic. When are you going to Powercast? That would be awesome. You know, that would be so awesome. Hopefully one day. Hopefully one day. HM1990 Harry, cheers for answering my question, Marky Mark. Not a problem, my man. Please know that the reason I don't respond to your comments is because I can't. You've been commenting my videos for years and it's awesome, and your support is much appreciated, and I hope you're watching this point. So thank you, dude. You're the man. But I'm not able to respond. I don't know where it's my privacy settings or your privacy settings. I don't know. I'm not sure. Strong Q&A, Mark. Double question here. How did you start getting into coaching? Did it just lead on from helping friends, teammates, from what you already knew, or did you do some coaching courses like the GBPF ones? 2, have you ever dealt with anyone with a lot of lower body mass but next to no upper body mass? What was your experience like with them? How did you build them up? Don't have to answer them both, but I'll answer them both, dude. Don't worry about that. First of all, I became a self-employed personal trainer when I was 17 years old. So basically, I left school. I did my personal training certificates, did everything. You know, it took me months and months, got everything done. Become a PT. Worked as a personal trainer. You know, I was working for a dude in the studio. I had about 30 odd sessions a week. And then, you know, I started YouTube, and I kind of was like, you know, I don't really want to just train the average person, you know, I don't want to just kind of train the average person, I want to kind of help people with strength. That's what I'm passionate about, that's what I want to do, and it just kind of naturally kind of progressed onto that. And I haven't dealt with anyone with that issue. If I had dealt with someone with that issue, it's not really an issue. It would just be a case of having them in a surplus and going through some accumulation phases, doing proper accessory work and building that upper body. You know, I don't really think it's an issue, and it's easily rectifiable, you know. I want to see super heavyweight Mark 160 plus kilograms. Lol. Yeah, superb. One day, my man. That's from Bros to Pros. It's probably Ben. I think it's usually Ben that comments my videos. What's up, dude? Yeah, man, it'll be cool to see that one day. We'll see. It probably will happen one day. I will be a super heavyweight one day, and it'll be pretty awesome. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll speak to all of you guys next time.